My girlfriend said, "If you're jealous, that's your issue." After posting cozy pics with her ex, I said, "I'm not jealous." Then sent those photos to his current girlfriend. Suddenly, she understood what real jealousy looked like. I'm Austin Campbell, 32, software developer, watching my now ex-girlfriend Madison have a complete meltdown in real time on social media. And honestly, it's better than Netflix. But let me start from the beginning, because this story isn't just about revenge. It's about finally learning to trust my gut after years of being told I was too sensitive. See, I've been down this road before. My ex from college, Jennifer, had a similar playbook. Always made me feel crazy for having basic concerns about her male friendships. "You're being paranoid, Austin. Why can't you just trust me?" This insecurity is really unattractive. I spent 3 years questioning my own sanity until I walked in on her with her just a friend study partner. The gaslighting had been so thorough that I actually apologized to her for not trusting enough. That experience left scars, made me hypersensitive to manipulation tactics, but also terrified of being labeled controlling. When I started dating again in my late 20s, I overcorrected, became too accommodating, too understanding, too willing to ignore red flags because I was paranoid about being the jealous boyfriend stereotype. Which brings me to Madison Price, 29, marketing coordinator with a smile that could sell ice to Eskimos and a talent for making me question reality. We met through mutual friends at a barbecue last spring. She seemed different from Jennifer, confident without being manipulative, social without being attention-seeking. We clicked immediately over shared interests in hiking and terrible reality TV shows. The first few months were incredible. Madison was affectionate, communicative, introduced me to her friends early. I thought I'd finally found someone emotionally mature who understood healthy boundaries. Then she mentioned her ex-boyfriend situation. I should probably tell you, I'm still close friends with Caleb, my ex. We dated for 3 years, but realized we were better as friends. It's totally platonic now, but I want you to know, up front, red flag number 1. But I'd learned from therapy that not every red flag is a deal breaker. Maybe she was being mature by disclosing it. Maybe I was projecting my Jennifer trauma onto an innocent situation. Madison seemed sincere, and Caleb lived across town with his own girlfriend. How much trouble could it be? The problem started subtly. Madison would mention Caleb constantly, not necessarily inappropriately, but enough to make him feel like a third person in our relationship. "Caleb thinks you'd love this new Thai place. Caleb recommended this hiking trail. Caleb says you remind him of his cousin from Chicago." When I'd ask basic follow-up questions, Madison would get defensive. "How was lunch with Caleb today?" "Why do you ask?" "Just making conversation about your day." "You seem bothered by it." "I'm literally just asking how lunch was." "Okay, but your tone sounds judgmental." This dance became exhausting. I'd ask innocent questions and somehow end up defending my motives. The whole dynamic felt familiar in the worst possible way. About 6 months in, I met Caleb at Madison's birthday party. Dude was exactly what I expected. Decent looking in a generic way, but clearly peaked during his college football days. Spent the entire evening talking about his CrossFit PRs and how he was between opportunities after leaving his sales job. Madison hung on his every word like he was delivering the Gettysburg Address. What bothered me wasn't jealousy. I genuinely didn't see Caleb as competition. What bothered me was watching Madison light up around him in ways she rarely did with me anymore. The way she laughed at his mediocre jokes, touched his arm when she talked to him, included him in conversations where he clearly didn't belong. When I mentioned this observation later, Madison's response was swift and brutal. "Are you seriously going to be jealous of Caleb? That's incredibly insecure." "I'm not jealous. I'm noticing that you seem more animated with him than with me." "He's my oldest friend. Of course we have chemistry as friends." "Chemistry? You know what I mean? Don't twist my words." "I'm not twisting anything. I'm telling you how it looked from my perspective." "Well, your perspective is wrong, and frankly, this jealousy isn't attractive." There it was, the J word. Once Madison discovered that calling me jealous could shut down any conversation about boundaries, she wielded it like a weapon. Asking about her day became jealousy. Expressing discomfort became jealousy. Wanting to spend weekends together instead of including Caleb became jealousy. The gaslighting escalated over the following months. Madison started having lunch with Caleb weekly, then twice weekly. She'd come home talking about their conversations in detail, how he was struggling with his job search, how his girlfriend Harper didn't understand his ambitions, how he missed having someone who really got him. "Doesn't he have male friends to talk to about this stuff?" I asked one evening. "Why does it matter? I'm a good listener." "It matters because you're spending more emotional energy on your ex's problems than on our relationship." "That's not true." "When's the last time you asked me about my day before launching into a Caleb update?" Madison paused, realizing she didn't have an answer. "You're being ridiculous and jealous. I can't help that you feel threatened by a friendship." "I'm not threatened. I'm feeling neglected." "Same thing." No, it absolutely wasn't the same thing. But Madison had perfected the art of reframing every legitimate concern as a character flaw on my part. My attempts to communicate became evidence of my insecurity. My desire for basic relationship prioritization became proof of my controlling nature. The final straw came 3 months ago when Madison announced she was planning a friend reunion with Caleb. Dinner, drinks, catching up on old times. When I suggested I'd join them, her reaction was telling. "Why would you want to come? You don't even like Caleb." "I never said I didn't like him. I just think it's weird that you need alone time with your ex." "It's not alone time, it's friend time." "What's the difference?" "The difference is your jealousy problem." And there we were, back to the jealousy accusation that somehow made me the villain for having normal relationship expectations. 2 weeks ago, everything exploded. Madison posted a series of Instagram stories from her friend reunion with Caleb. The photos told a story that her words never would. Her and Caleb at some upscale restaurant. Her leaning into him while they shared an appetizer. Them at a rooftop bar with his arm casually draped around her shoulders. A selfie where she's kissing his cheek with the caption, "Miss this one so much." And finally, a timestamp showing them leaving together at 2:17 a.m. When she stumbled through our apartment door the next morning at 9 a.m., I was sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop and a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. I'd been up most of the night, not because I was waiting up for her, but because I couldn't sleep. Something about those photos had triggered every alarm bell I'd learned to recognize from my Jennifer experience. "Fun night?" I asked, keeping my voice neutral. "Yeah, it was really nice catching up with Caleb. We went to that new place downtown I've been wanting to try." The photos looked pretty cozy. Madison's entire demeanor shifted, her shoulders tensed, and that familiar defensive wall went up instantly. "Here we go," she sighed, dropping her purse on the counter with more force than necessary. "I'm just saying, kissing your ex on social media is a bit much." "It was on the cheek, Austin. God, your jealousy is so exhausting." "I'm not jealous. I'm pointing out that posting romantic-looking photos with your ex while you're in a relationship is disrespectful. If you're jealous, that's your issue, not mine. I refuse to be controlled by your insecurities." The phrase hit me like a physical slap. Not because it was cruel, but because it was so perfectly crafted to end the conversation. Make me the problem. Make my reasonable concerns about respect and boundaries into character flaws that were mine to fix. So, if I posted photos of me kissing my ex, you'd be totally fine with it? That's completely different. How? Because you'd be doing it specifically to hurt me. I'm just being friendly with someone I care about. The double standard was breathtaking. When she did it, it was innocent friendship. When I hypothetically did it, it was malicious manipulation. The mental gymnastics required to maintain that logic should have qualified for Olympic competition. That night, after Madison went to bed, I sat in my home office staring at my computer screen, feeling like I was losing my mind. Was I actually crazy? Was this normal behavior that I was overreacting to? Had 3 years of therapy after Jennifer not taught me anything about distinguishing between legitimate concerns and toxic jealousy? I called my best friend Jake at midnight. Jake's known me since college, watched me go through the Jennifer disaster, seen me rebuild my confidence in dating life. If anyone could give me an honest perspective, it was him. "Dude, sorry to call so late, but I need a reality check." "What's up, man? You sound stressed." "It's Madison. Am I crazy for being bothered by her posting herself kissing her ex on Instagram?" "Wait, what? She posted herself kissing another dude?" "Her ex-boyfriend, on the cheek. They went out for drinks and she posted this whole romantic-looking evening. Bro, if my girlfriend posted herself kissing her ex, I'd lose my absolute mind. You're definitely not crazy." But what if I am being controlling? What if this is just friendship and I'm projecting my Jennifer stuff onto an innocent situation? Austin, listen to me. You asked her about her day and she called you jealous. You expressed discomfort with boundary-crossing behavior, and she made you the problem. That's not normal. That's manipulation. The validation hit differently than I expected. Relief mixed with anger, mixed with clarity. I wasn't losing my mind. This was gaslighting, and I'd been too close to the situation to see it clearly. What should I do? Honestly, document everything. And maybe consider whether this is the relationship you want to be in. After hanging up with Jake, I did something I probably should have done months ago. I looked up Caleb Rodriguez on social media, found his girlfriend Harper Williams easily enough, a 27-year-old pediatric nurse whose Instagram was filled with couple photos and anniversary countdowns. Her latest post was about their upcoming 2-year anniversary, complete with heart emojis and captions about forever love. Interesting how Harper had no idea her boyfriend was having romantic dinner dates with his ex-girlfriend. The next few days were torture. Madison doubled down on the Caleb content like she was testing my limits. More photos appeared. A beach day where they were practically cuddling on the same towel. Coffee dates where she gazed at him adoringly. Even a Throwback Thursday post featuring an old photo of them from when they were dating with the caption, "Some things never change except your friends forever." Her friends ate it up. Comments like, "You two were so perfect together," and "the one that got away" vibes, and most brutal of all, "definitely better than the current one." That last comment got 17 likes, including one from Madison herself. I screenshot everything, not because I had a plan yet, but because I needed evidence that I wasn't imagining the disrespect. Each photo was a deliberate provocation, a test to see how much I'd tolerate before I either exploded or gave up entirely. Madison started mentioning how much she and Caleb had reconnected during their evening out, how he was going through a rough patch with Harper, how Harper didn't understand him the way Madison did, how grateful he was to have someone who really listened to his problems. "Doesn't he have guy friends for this kind of support?" I asked. "Not everyone processes emotions the same way you do, Austin." "What's that supposed to mean?" "Some people need deeper connections, more emotional intelligence." The implication was clear. Caleb was more emotionally sophisticated than me. Their connection was deeper than what he had with Harper, and deeper than what Madison had with me. I was just too emotionally stunted to understand. That Thursday night, I sat in my car outside my office building after work, scrolling through the latest batch of Madison and Caleb photos. My hands were shaking slightly, not from anger, but from the cognitive dissonance of being told I was crazy while watching my girlfriend publicly romance another man. I thought about Jennifer again, how she'd convinced me that my concerns were character flaws, how I'd spent years in therapy learning to trust my instincts, how I'd promised myself I'd never again let someone make me question my own perception of reality. Madison wasn't Jennifer, but the pattern was identical. The gaslighting was just more sophisticated this time. That's when I made my decision, not out of jealousy, but out of self-respect. I wasn't going to spend another 3 years being told my reality was wrong. I composed a message to Harper Williams, keeping it respectful and factual. "Hey Harper, you don't know me, but I'm dating Madison, Caleb's ex-girlfriend. I thought you should see these posts from the past 2 weeks. I'm not trying to start drama, just figured you'd want to know what your boyfriend's been up to during his guys' nights and networking events. Do what you want with this information." I attached 15 screenshots, the dinner photos, the beach cuddling, the kissing selfie, the throwback post, and several flirty comment exchanges between Madison and Caleb that I'd noticed over the months. Then I hit send. Harper read the message within 43 minutes. I know because Instagram shows read receipts. She didn't respond immediately, but I watched her view my profile, then Madison's, then Caleb's. 20 minutes later, every couple photo of Harper and Caleb disappeared from his Instagram. Then Harper posted a story. "When you find out the client networking events were actually beach dates with the ex-girlfriend, my phone exploded 37 minutes later. Madison called me 23 times in succession. When I didn't answer, she started texting, 'What did you do?' Harper is having a complete breakdown. Caleb called me crying, 'You psychotic piece of shit. How could you destroy people's lives like this?' This is the most toxic thing anyone has ever done to me," I responded once. I shared public Instagram posts with someone who had a right to know. If that destroyed their relationship, maybe examine why. The social media warfare that followed was better than any reality show. Harper went nuclear with the receipts. She posted screenshots of Caleb's lies, texts where he claimed he was at work, conferences during his beach day with Madison, messages about grabbing drinks with the boys during their romantic dinners, even location services that showed him across town when he'd told her he was at family events. Harper's final Instagram story was devastating. 2 years wasted on a man who was never over his ex. Madison, he's all yours. Hope he doesn't cheat on you the way he cheated on me. P.S. That friend reunion happened on my birthday weekend when he said he was visiting his sick grandmother. The revelation that Caleb had been lying to Harper for months, using their relationship as a cover while emotionally cheating with Madison, vindicated every gut feeling I'd ignored. This wasn't innocent friendship. This was a full emotional affair that I'd been gaslit into accepting. Madison showed up at my apartment uninvited that evening, mascara streaked, playing the victim card. "Are you happy now? You've destroyed everything." I sent screenshots of public posts, Madison. If sharing the truth destroyed everything, maybe everything was built on lies. Caleb won't even speak to me. He blames me for posting those photos. Maybe because the photos revealed what you were both doing? We weren't doing anything wrong. Then why is he angry? Why did Harper leave him? She tried a new manipulation angle. I only posted those photos to make you jealous. I wanted you to fight for me, to show me you cared. So you wanted me to be jealous, but when I expressed concerns about boundaries, you called that jealousy my problem. Yes, you were supposed to get territorial and prove you love me. By disrespecting our relationship publicly, that's not love, Madison. That's manipulation. The conversation revealed the true psychology behind her behavior. She hadn't been innocently maintaining a friendship. She'd been orchestrating drama to test my commitment while gaslighting me for responding normally to her provocations. Please, we can work through this. I'll block Caleb completely. It's too late. You've shown me exactly who you are. I've made mistakes, but you've ruined lives. I shared public information with someone who deserved to know the truth. The consequences are from your choices, not mine. Madison's final manipulation attempt was classic. I hope you're satisfied knowing you're the reason Caleb hates me now. If he hates you for posting the truth about your friendship, maybe examine what that friendship actually was. The aftermath unfolded over several weeks. Madison and Caleb tried dating for exactly 4 days before imploding spectacularly. Turns out when you remove the thrill of secret emotional affairs and the ego boost of making current partners jealous, there's nothing substantial left. Their relationship announcement post got ratioed so hard they turned off comments. Harper, meanwhile, started thriving. She posted a "thank you for helping me dodge a bullet" selfie 3 weeks later, looking genuinely happy. Last I saw, she was dating a pediatric doctor from her hospital, who actually includes her in his social media instead of hiding her. 6 months later, I can see this experience clearly. I started therapy again, not because I'd done anything wrong, but because I wanted to understand why I'd tolerated gaslighting for so long. My therapist helped me recognize that my Jennifer trauma had made me overcorrect into accepting disrespect to avoid being seen as controlling. The work paid off when I met Sarah at a friend's barbecue last month. When her ex-boyfriend texted about returning a book, she showed me the message and asked if I was comfortable with her meeting him for coffee. "You don't need my permission," I said. "I know, but we're a team. Your feelings matter to me." That's what respect looks like. Not asking permission, but caring about your partner's comfort. Not hiding interactions, but being transparent. Not dismissing concerns as jealousy, but addressing them as a team. To anyone reading this who's been told their reasonable boundaries are jealousy, trust your instincts. Healthy partners don't gaslight you for having normal relationship expectations. They don't orchestrate drama to test your commitment. They don't prioritize validating their egos over respecting your feelings. Madison still posts cryptic quotes about knowing your worth and toxic masculinity. Last I heard, her dating profile mentioned wanting someone secure enough to handle friendships. Good luck to whoever swipes right on that parade of red flags. As for me, I learned that sometimes the best response to "your jealousy isn't my problem" is making it everyone's problem by shining light on the truth. The truth has a way of solving problems that gaslighting created.